What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Savage Land. Welcome to another episode of the Feild. And today we got my main man, Craig McConnell, aka Rock and Roll. I believe one of the original G.I. Joes to come out in the 82, 83 line. But I don't have any fond memories of him. He's one of the earlier Joes, but he's a pretty cool looking figure, man. He's pretty cool. He's a little bit different from the original Aura era. I think the Aura era was more of like a green shirt type of guy with the bandoliers going across his chest, but they jazzed him up a little bit. They kind of switched him up a little bit, kind of modernized him, which is cool. As you see here, he got the brown boots, he's got the green fatigues with the brown holster on the side, got the little 9mm or the Colt 45. I believe on the other side, I don't know if that's an ammo pack or maybe a medical pack on his left leg. But you see he's got the water canister. He's also got a walkie-talkie on his belt. Not really a lot of paint on the belt, but a lot of sculpt. The walkie-talkie can come off. He can, of course, hold his ammo pack on his belt. And you see he's got his cool helmet. And, of course, he has his battle garbs, which is more like a short sleeve shirt, more kind of like a more modernized military shirt. And it looks pretty cool, man. One thing I will say about this G.I. Joe here, that they actually gave him extra hands. He has a fist, which he can do a yo-jo, or he can slug somebody, which he looks pretty good slugging this Cobra here. Also, his hair has a very, very deep wash in it, man. It almost makes it look like a dirty blonde going through his beard. And I said a couple of months ago, once this guy gets in hand, he has the potential to be a rock star, and he is. Is he better than Old Man Outback? To me, no, but doesn't mean he's a bad figure. It's just like good versus better. And he's a very solid in the pocket figure. He's not too much going on with him, far as just like flamboyant stuff. He's pretty much just your everyday kind of like soldier, man, but with the little twist on it. Like I said, with the hair, with the big bushy beard, the dirty wash on it, and then he's got the tattoos that looks phenomenal on him. And as you can see here, he has his other rock in hand, or wolf pack, however you want to call it, and the rocking out hand, and it's cool, man. It's just some nice features, and you get a little bit better look at his helmet here. It kind of reminds me of Full Metal Jackets with that white writing on it. His says Hang 10, and he's from LA, so I guess he's a surfer, and I guess he's from the early days of LA, the Whiskey Go-Go days, breaking bands and things like that. So his sleeves look good. Has a mom tattoo. I could never make out what the other part of the sleeves were, but they were pretty cool. It has pretty cool design. And also his bracelets are removable. Like that bandolier bracelet, you can take that off of him when you remove his hands, if you want to remove that. And there's tattooing up under that also. They didn't have to do that. They could have stopped it there, but of course they took it on the way through. And here's him holding one of the Valorverse pistols, that big revolver. And here's him also holding his sidearm, like I said, which is a 9 or Colt 40, the 1911. I'm sorry, Colt 1911, which is a 45. But he holds both pistols great. Of course, he's gonna hold his good. But that Valorverse pistol is kind of interesting because not a lot of people can really hold that with ease. He's not a super massive action figure, but he's a big boy. He's got some stock on him, and he has some big hands because he's holding that pistol with ease. Like I've had trouble putting that pistol in certain people's hand, like their finger can't get all the way in the trigger, and he's doing it with no problem, man. And here's the shot that sold this figure. Whoever did that figure posing for that set, you sold that. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And here's also with one of my other more favorite G.I. Joes, the Old Man Outback, and they look ravishing together. I mean, they blasting it out. They got a lot of sculpt, a lot of detail. They're the first. Well, Outback is the first one with that jacked up buck, and now Rock and Roll has it. And this is how my G.I. Joes look now. Being that Rock and Roll has came into the edition, and with the addition of Outback and some other guys, now I feel a lot more confident about my G.I. Joe shelf. When I built out my Cobra Army at first, I'm like, man, this G.I. Joe shelf looks lackluster. Now I had them lined up the other day, and I'm like, Hey, this is starting to become a nice little team that's filling out that I feel confident to go against my massive Cobra army. I need some real guys. I don't need no punks on this. And my Joe team is really starting to build out, and I'm loving it. Here's him holding a Valorverse, another Valorverse weapon, the big machine gun. I usually have Roadblock holding. He's a machine gunner like Roadblock, heavy guns. And here's him up against some of my favorite G.I. Joes, and this is what I'm talking about. Now, every man that's going around on this merry-go-round is solid man, from Old Man Outback to Roadblock, Beachhead, Bazooka, of course the new one, Rock and Roll, and of course the man Sergeant Slaughter leading the charge. And these guys all look phenomenal together. They're all jacked. And Beachhead is just like a favorite of mine. He's kit bashed to hell up there, but he was always a favorite of mine. And nobody said anything about doing him over. I wonder if he will be the one that got away, like something crazy happened in the line and they just never come back to him. You know, like 15 years down the road like that, Beachhead is like Raiders of the Lost Ark type shit. You know what I'm saying? So ain't nobody said nothing about him. I did hear that there's a Tiger Force Flint coming out, which is awesome, because I just said it the other day, like, why would you redo Dusty when you got a Tiger Force Flint? And I wouldn't have mind seeing a Tiger Force Roadblock with this new buck that he has up here, not the old one, even though we got a million Roadblocks, man. But Joe team is definitely filling out. Rock and Roll is a great addition. Like I said, he's a pretty plain figure, but he's right in the pocket. I don't want too much more from this guy. They did him just right. He moves great. Double jointed arms, double jointed knees, pinless, ball joint, double ball joint at the neck and head. I mean, he's your standard Joe. This is, if you're gonna buy a kid a Joe for Christmas, this is the Joe that you buy him. And the reason why I said that, because I brought my nephew some G.I. Joe Classified for Christmas last year, and I got him an Outback. I said, if I'm gonna get him a Joe, I'm gonna get him a Joe. You feel me? And of course, I couldn't go through without doing a few photo shoots with him, you know, playing some music. And this is the Honky Tonk Man guitar from WWE Elite. And it's a breakaway guitar, and I tried like hell for this thing not to collapse, and it stayed together. It looked good. When I think of Rock and Roll from G.I. Joe, I'm not thinking of like heavy metal. I'm thinking more like Dave Matthews Band, like Satellite. You know what I'm saying? Him playing that, strumming that on a electric acoustic guitar. And just a plain scene, man. I've had to get more and more on myself to stop trying to do so much crazy shit, because sometimes it's just a overkill and the shot doesn't look good. Like simple, subtle shots like this are beautiful. He's beautiful up there. He is really like a man about to play an acoustic guitar, man. And that's the cool thing about the versatility of this figure. He has such a great regular head sculpt that even though you're looking at him, he's all military decked out. For a second there, you come out of that and just see a man about to play a guitar, and it's cool that his name is Rock and Roll, because it's definitely a play on that. And as you can see, he's sitting down in a seat. It's easy to move him around. That's a courtesy to the double jointed legs for him to sit down, and the ball joint. No, he has an ab crunch, but the ball joint in the neck helps him bend that neck down just a little bit, so it looks like he's trying to see, you know, like tune up his guitar or see where he needs to be at so he can start playing a piece of music. And that's a major thing with articulation in action figures. And Action Force moves great, but I really wish they had that double ball joint at the neck, coming down at the neck, at the bottom of the neck, and the top of the neck, so you could lean over and kind of, you know, put your scope in for your weapons. But Valorverse makes up in different ways for that, but I really wish they had that. And of course, you know, I couldn't do this photo shoot about music without Animal. He's recruiting Rock and Roll to become a part of his band, Animal Thug, which consists of Sabretooth and Cobra Trooper, ironically, and Spider-Punk. And Rock and Roll is just coming in auditioning, man, see if maybe he can get a few gigs with the guys. And here he is with an electric guitar from Spider-Punk. So I had to put that in his hand. And he, like I said, man, he looks good regardless of the fact. And he's doing that with both his trigger fingers. So it's all about your imagination and how you play. But rock and roll, solid figure, very in the pocket. I had a few paint issues, kind of like in the arm joint area, like little scratch. But look, if you know my channel, you know I'm not tripping off that shit, man. Like I said, for the most part, this figure right here was damn sure worth my money. And if you haven't got him yet, he will be coming. I've had my order on Big Bad Toy Store for a couple of months. I got the processing last week, but of course Memorial Day came, so I just got him in hand a couple of days ago. And he's still up for a September 1st or July release, but I'm pretty sure he'll be coming before that. But if you can get this guy, get him. Don't jump the gun and pay overpriced for him, because he'll be coming. He'll be coming. He'll be coming. But this is the Savage Land. We do this for the love and beauty of action figures and G.I. Joe Classified and Yo Joe June. Keep pounding. We got more great reveals coming up. I got more commentary coming up. His tank will be revealed June 5th. And with that being said, God bless.